Welcome to ESPN's live flag-to-flag coverage here at Lime Rock of the Camel Grand Prix of Lime Rock 1988. Double the number of prototype cars that we've ever had here before, and a great field of Camel-like cars are organizing 26 strong for today's race. That will run 150 laps or 3 hours to decide it. For the last 2 years, this has been the home of the Porsche 962. But with the tremendous speeds that have been turned in qualifying, we have Jaguar on the pole, 5 miles an hour faster than anything's ever run here, and the Nissan is out front of the front row. Bill, Adam, you can speak to these tremendous speeds we're seeing here.
Well, the speeds normally, when you go to a track each year, they'll jump up tenths of a mile an hour, and that's all you ever get. But to go up 5 miles an hour is just something that has never been seen before. It can only be attributed to the level of competition with Nissan, Jaguar, Porsche, incredibly competitive.
Speed is always costly in money and sometimes in much more. Bob Barsha has the Nissan story here this weekend.
Well, Ken, there's no doubt that the Nissan has been the most compelling story of this week. You saw what happened to one of the team's cars when John Morton suffered an accident, flipped the car, totally wrecked the car, and did some pretty serious injuries to John as well. But ever the racer, John is back out here today to watch Jeff Brabham run the car. John, first of all, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling a lot better than I look. My injuries were real superficial, mostly just minor burns. The cars were fairly substantial.
That was a brand new car turning its first wheel, I understand.
That was the first day it had run, and it did what a lot of cars have done here at Lime Rock. It went over backwards on the hill, and I think they're going to probably have to do some re-excavating on that section of the track in the future.
When will you be back behind the wheel?
Well, either next weekend, but I don't think they'll let me again until Watkins Glen.
Well, take care of yourself, John. Recover quickly. Jeff Brabham will try to keep the Nissan's two-race winning streak going. Excuse me, Jeff. Are you going to be able to hand it driving solo today?
Well, I'm going to try. It's probably going to be just over 2 hours. So, normally on these situations, you get pretty tired, but you don't normally suffer till after the race. So I'm pretty sore tonight, probably.
Will you have a relief driver standing by?
No, it isn't planned, although I think Don Devendorf will probably be in there in a flash if anything happens. But we'll just have to wait and see. The Nissan's running well, and it's fairly comfortable to drive. And, at this stage, I anticipate no problems.
Well, good luck to you today, Jeff Brabham. Let's go now to my pit row colleague who is with the pole sitter. Here's Pat Patterson.
Well, thank you very much, Bob Barsha. And the man who is on the pole here today at Lime Rock at better than 122 miles an hour, driver of the Castrol Jag, is Martin Brundle. And Martin, this is a tricky race course, and I know that you've got to be really on your toes all the way around this course for the complete 3 hours.
Yeah, that's very true. There's only one short straight here to relax on, and even that's quite bumpy. So it's going to be a problem with the back markers. I think we're going to be with them after only 5 or 6 laps. And I'm pleased there's 2 drivers in our car today. I hear 1 or 2 of the cars have got only a single driver. It's getting quite hot and it's quite humid, so it'll be interesting to see.
We know we've seen a lot of concern about the cars getting airborne. I think you've taken some precautions to prevent that.
Yeah, well, we're working around, and I found a different line up that hill that makes life a little bit more pleasant. So I'm not too worried about that. I think it's a problem if you get in somebody's draft.
Good. Have a great run this afternoon. We're going to come back to Lime Rock with more action this afternoon after this.
And one of them will carry our in-car camera to give you a good view of the racing. I'm with the Camel Lights pole sitter. There are 2 races going on today simultaneously. The lightweight prototypes running with the big GTP cars. Charles Morgan is on the pole in the Camel Lights class. You've got some new bodywork, Charles, and it obviously works well on this Pontiac.
Yeah, we got to thank the Spice people. They did a heck of a job developing this, but the real thanks goes to the crew who spent a lot of late nights putting it on in about a week.
Are you going to use a cool suit, or are you going to try to go the entire distance? It's awfully hot out here.
Yeah, it is awful hot. I'm going to go the entire distance. I've got a cool cap on, not a cool, full cool suit.
Is it most important to get to that first turn first?
No, it's most important to get to the checkered flag first.
Best of luck to Charles Morgan, your pole sitter in the Camel Lights class. Now let's go back up top to Ken Squire.
The oldest traditional event on the GT schedule of IMSA. It's attracted the biggest field of prototype cars in the history of the event. And they're lining up down here now on this 1.53-mile track, getting set for the call. and 26 cars will come to life this afternoon. Our onboard camera in the Dyson car will be starting in the 13th position today, right in behind the Momo Buick, so we should have a pretty good view from midway in the field of what happens on this very, very tight course. How tight
We're down the front straight at Lime Rock, flat out fifth gear, 160 miles an hour, approaching a long first corner. A difficult corner to set up for because you have to do two apexes. Tight in here for the first one. Now the car slides out a little bit right at this point and tuck it back in tight again. There's your second one right there. It's back on the gas. The second corner for us is really a throwaway corner. It's much more critical to get well set up for the third, the corner that leads onto the straight. Now here we go. Tuck in tight, feed on that power, and get hard on it. Up through third into fourth gear. And look at the bumps. Look at this. The camera's vibrating terribly, and we're approaching a hard uphill corner. This, a very critical turn 5, because at the top, the car is very light, wants to actually take off. Turn 6, a long, fast right-hander, a good corner for passing people as we're doing right here. Slide to the outside, and then we're back downhill. Hard fourth gear and even into fifth. Just a shade of throttle feathering and back full throttle down our front straight. 150, 160 miles an hour. We cross our start-finish line. There's our fast lap at Lime Rock Park.
A demanding track that demands a delicate touch. Lime Rock, and it's
those famous words for the start of the 1988 edition of the Camel GT Challenge, Miss Camel GT, Jeannie Lyon.
Drivers, start your engines.
And the signals back to the car, Mike Joy.
the most sophisticated sports cars in the world coming to life here at Lime Rock for a record prize of $168,000 guaranteed today. A record crowd in attendance. The entry transcends the 7 big GTP cars that ran in the race a year ago by double the number as we get down to today's championship round. 150 laps, 3 hours.
It's a moment of a little bit of tension at this point, but you try to get rid of it all. Right now you've got just a few moments to get private with yourself and try and get rid of all emotion. You want to get as cold as you possibly can. You're not going to concentrate on the heat. You're not even going to think about that at all, and it's only that first corner that you want to think about right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your starting grid for the Lime Rock Camel Grand Prix. Shattering all records, Team Jaguar is on the pole here at Lime Rock. Martin Brundle and his teammate from Denmark, John Nielsen. Outside of the front row, going for their 3rd straight, Jeff Brabham for Team Nissan. Going to row number 2 today, there you find the defending IMSA championship, Robinson. And alongside Robinson comes Price Cobb, who won at Miami. His co-driver is James Weaver. In row number 3 for this afternoon's Camel Grand Prix, Cyril van der Merwe in the Hendrick Chevrolet Corvette, and his co-driver is Elliott Forbes Robinson. The outside of row 3, Jan Lammers in another one of those 12-cylinder Jaguars. Davy Jones of the U.S. will assist. For row 4, 4th place finisher at Miami, the big surprise Bob Earl and Jeff Klein in the Pontiac. And alongside is the Chevrolet Fab car, Tim McAdam there, and Chip Meade. For row 5 this afternoon, John Hotchkiss in a Porsche 962 and Jim Adams, his co-driver. Outside of that row, it is Bernard Jourdain and Jim Rothbart driving the Calaisian 962 Porsche. And let's take a look at the rest of the starting field here. Moretti and Rowe have qualified the Buick in the 6th row, and then there comes Brockman in there as well. Row 7 for today's race, Rob Dyson, and then the Wood Pompelli car. Row 8 for today's event, Charlie Morgan is there in the first of the Camel Light cars, and then the Cole and Winters cars as we look back through the field. Row 9 for today's event, Tony Visker is there, and then the Schubert Ludeman car, which is having a great season. Row number 10 today, Panato and Capelli in one of those Ferraris, and then comes the McKittrick car and Winters in another Camel Light machine. Going to row number 10, there you find Jim Downing, the all-time Camel Light runner, and Howard Katz and John Lincoln Grooms finish out that row. Row number 12 today is Loring and Hesser, people that have won those long-distance races this year. And then you see Variety and Nagel in the end of row 12. Row 13 today, Loring and Hesser. And finally, as we get down to the end of the row, more of the Camel Light cars filling out the field. Gaston Andre himself may get to see some action. It's good to see him back. Row 14 in today's event, or that's the 13th and final row, 26 cars. I'm trying to add an extra row here before we get underway.
I'm sure that a lot of drivers will feel like there has been an extra couple of rows added in this. What these fellows are doing right now, they're warming up their cars, making sure transmission and engine fluids are up to operating temperatures, optimum temperatures. They don't want them too hot, but they certainly don't want them cold. The colder the fluid is, the thicker it is, and that's when you can do a lot of damage. Here's a shot inside. This is Rob Dyson right here. He'll just be checking all his gauges right now, just making sure everything appears to be normal. He'll talk back and forth with his crew a little bit, tell them that, yes, everything is coming up to speed normally, just getting ready for the start.
Had the thrill of his life driving with A.J. Foyt a couple of times this year.
What a great guy. Both of them are.
There you see the Hendrick number 52, the Corvette. Hoping to have a great afternoon. Remember, the Jaguar is not exactly unused to winning on this track. They've won here before back in the days of Bob Julius and Bill Adams.
In fact, 1983 was a very good year.
Defeated Bob Aiken and John Osteen.
Brought back some good memories.
All right, getting set for the start. Pace car is coming in. It's live on ESPN and on the break. The Jag scoots down in front. Will this be the race that turns things around for the Porsche 962?
And what an incredible move by Brabham off the start there. Brabham almost lost second place to Chip Robinson in the Miller Porsche, but did a super out-braking job, as deep as he could probably get.
The temperature very hot, upper 80s, close to 90 today. That could favor the Porsches before the afternoon is over. That's the kind of weather they would like to run in against these 12-cylinder Jags and that Nissan.
In theory, they would, except at Palm Beach, it was even hotter. Here's a great shot. In car in the back straight right now. Look at these bumps. Watch Rob. You can see his hands when they come into the seat. Like he's fighting back and forth. And over that hump, that's where the cars lift off and do this wheel stand that they definitely don't want.
Moretti and Rowe in that Buick Martian. That's Moretti directly in front. That team has just had terrible misfortune this year. Jeez, look at this lead.
This is really impressive. Now, these cars are on cold tires and really have to be very, very delicate. Treat the cars with a great deal of respect at this point. But this is something I think Brabham should try and do. A turbocharged car does not have the capability of getting through traffic cleanly like the Jaguar does with its fuel injection. If he can establish a lead, that's going to help him a great deal later on in the race for when traffic does present problems.
Jeff Brabham staying out in front. Martin Brundle in the Jaguar is running in second, and Chip Robinson, his team a winner here for the last 2 years. Trying to turn things around with the 962s, running third at the present time. And for that team, they have really had problems with car number 14, the Holbert's effort in 1988.
Oh, Brabham is rocketing around. Look at the cars coming down the straight. It just looks like it's surfing off the wave tops. Very physically tiring circuit to drive on, and Jeff's going to be doing this whole thing himself.
Last lap at 46.5. 46.5 on this 1.5 mile, 7-turn course.
Now, this is only a second and a half off the pace that he qualified at. They're still running an average of about 118 miles an hour. This car, as it seemed to do in the last 2 races, just makes everything look effortless. And I think it's got to be a combination of the work they put into the chassis itself, but also Brabham's driving. He seems to drive just as he speaks with very little emotion. Everything is very neat and clean.
The second Dyson car, actually the number 1 car, is running in 4th place, and James Weaver is currently at the controls of that machine. 4th is that car. Now there's the Jag. Maintains, this time, a challenging position on the leader. Beautiful picture. Car number 60, Martin Brundle, at 7 the pole after qualifying at 122.7 miles an hour. Whopping big advantage over anything they've ever seen in the sport.
No, and just an amazing performance as well. Brundle used the car up, just everything the car had given, he took. But the car is obviously a lot different than anything else here. You see it has full skirts over the rear wheels. A little bit of an aerodynamic advantage the Jaguar team thinks. A lot of people disagree with it, but it certainly worked for them in Europe last year when they won the World Championship with a very similar car.
Lap speed 116.7 in the last lap. Here you see the 3rd place car, Chip Robinson, who will go solo today in that Porsche 962 for the 3-hour distance. Back with the leader once again, Brabham. And their brand newest car, as we mentioned at the top of the program, was absolutely destroyed. There's nothing to take home. There's nothing to rebuild. You start over again. Up there, they figured it cost about a little over $100,000 per hour to run free. Get that car around.
Heartbreaking. The crew have done that much work. Very, very disheartening.
To the Nissan pit, here's Pat Patterson.
Chief on this car, Ashley. Is your strategy to get out this far, this fast? You've really got a remarkable lead early.
Jeff's got a tremendous start. That was one of the best starts I've seen in a while. And, you know, we're counting on him. He does a great job.
Was the strategy to get it and go as fast as you could?
Strategy is to lead the race anytime you can.
Okay, that's a story from the Nissan pit, gentlemen.
The interval between first and second is now 2 6/10 of a second. The second Jaguar, number 61, with Lombers at the controls, is running in the 5th position, and maintaining 6th at the present time is McAdam and Meade in that Chevy Fab car.
Yeah,
pretty good day.
Haven't they done a great job? Chip Meade's been a friend for a number of years. I'm so pleased with both of them. They've really got this car working well. It's an all-American car, as we'll talk about later.
Here's Bravo on the point. And let's see if we can get an interval as he comes around the Loring and Hessert car.
Look
looks
at
one
this.
way and then looks the other.
You can see Jeff had to use the entire width of the straight there, going by slower traffic, just picking and weaving his way through the traffic.
The Camel Light car is running some 30 miles per hour slower, and you could really see it there.
The headlights on in the Jaguar to try and get the driver's attention as they're approaching them. Every little thing they can do to get someone's attention and make them notice that, yes, there's somebody closing on you very quickly, helps you get by safely. What you want to avoid at all costs is an inopportune hit where somebody knocks you off the track because they didn't even realize you were there.
There you see them closing up on John Groom's car, number 36. Boy, those leaders having to weave through on this very tight track. Again, it's a mile and a half. 7 turns, 1.53. And you can see that has a lot of altitude in it as well. Now, there's the Camel Lights leader at the present time. That's the number 97.
Bill Cole and Tom Winters, I believe.
Pontiac Firebird is leading in Camel Lights, having a great run.
That's Costas Loss that's driving it. I think he was the one to start the car. That's the Whitehall Motorsports entry.
Bryce Cobb is sitting out the early rounds here with the Rob Dyson team. Bryce, could you have gone this entire race solo, and would you choose that over sitting out and then getting into another car?
Well, Bob, last year, you know that we had trouble with my neck. I've been working out on it very diligently all winter, and I think I could go the distance now. I know that the rest of my body had no objection. I just couldn't hold my neck up. But if you're going to run 2 cars, and certainly in the situation that we are in, wanting to win the championship, it's silly for me to start the race because the car you start the race in is the only one you can get points in.
And Bryce Cobb needs those points. He is just 1 behind John Nielsen for the lead in the Camel GT Series.
Bryce Cobb, who's having a brilliant year once again, winner of that Porsche Cup for the last couple of seasons. Driver that many people had forgotten, and now the Colorado, originally out of Texas, with the help of Rob Dyson, is having the kind of year any driver would like to have.
Very, very true. And Rob Dyson, he's a story all in himself. That he took Drake Olson out of obscurity and to show that he was brilliant. Bryce Cobb has really done an outstanding job.
Great pictures from one of the Dyson cars here. As we continue to watch the leader now. Rattler in the 83. This is the car that we've seen win on 2 previous occasions this year, down the long main straightaway in front of the pit area and into turn number 1.
And watch the Jaguar behind, the lights ablaze, just slashing his way through traffic here.
About to overtake the Camel Light car that is leading in that division.
Halfway through a corner.
Never even gives it a second thought. Dashes through. And those Camel Light cars really throttle right along.
They corner, in a lot of cases, faster than the big GT prototypes because they weigh so much less. It's an area where the horsepower doesn't matter at all. It's how much you're sticking to the ground. And the light cars will go through corners very fast, showing the Jag passing the GT. Oh, and there's a spin by number 61 Jaguar. That's John Lammers.
Lammers, who had been running in the 5th position. Lutz gets it back underway. No serious damage here.
Almost a good spin, if any spin is good, but he did a 360, got right around and just had a minimum of time getting back underway. He could select low gear and just accelerate out of the stop position. Now he's following that red, white, and blue car. That's the Fab car of Chip Meade and Tim McAdam.
So the number 61 has some making up to do, but it's very early in the going. We're just in the first minutes of this event. It's underway here at Lime Rock, Connecticut in this 3-hour or 150 laps. Whichever comes the longest, quickest. 3 hours is the maximum time they can run it. And here's number 61 trying to come back through the field now.
That characteristic wiggle of the Jaguars under very heavy braking. They all seem to do that.
You see Meade's car directly in front of the Fab car, the Chevy Fab car just in front of it. Jag. Here's number 83, their leader.
Oh, now notice this. The Nissan now has headlights on as well. That could be at the direction of the crew chief. He's seen some success, or perhaps even Jeff himself, because of all his experience. He's aware of what's... No. Just...
1 and 4/10 seconds now separate first and second place here in Lime Rock, Connecticut in the Grand Prix this afternoon. More live on ESPN in a moment. The Terry Visker, Paul Lewis, Hupperker, Pontiac Firebird has terminated its day in a most dramatic fashion. We believe that was Visker that has crashed, and the leader has just come on pit road. The Nissan is down here to our right from the start-finish line, and there is a pace car on the track collecting the field.
I would expect this is a planned stop with the pace car going in. He may have timed this just right. At this point of the race, we're getting close to half an hour old on the race. They may be able to do it on one pit stop from this point onward. Now, just like NASCAR, he's taking one of his stops under a yellow situation, so he really doesn't lose very much at all.
The driver was able to extricate himself from that calamity out here on this 1.5-mile track. Again, we believe it's Terry Visker. He stepped out of the machine that is impaled up there in the barrier. And a full track caution is now being shown to the International Motorsports Association participants in this Memorial Weekend race. Not a good one at all for car number 55 in the Camel Light competition. This was not one of the big prototypes, but a lot of money is invested and a great deal of effort by Pontiac in both the prototype and in Camel Light racing for 1988. They certainly didn't want to end it that way. Now you see the new leader, and it is the man who had started on the pole, car number 60, Martin Brundle, who was beaten right out of the gate by the Nissan with a tremendous jump into turn number 1, and Brabham had been able to maintain anywhere from 1 and 6/10 seconds to 4 car lengths advantage over this nemesis from Great Britain. The Nissan team started today's race with lots of momentum. With 2 back-to-back wins under their belt, Bill Adam talked with Don Devendorf about their success.
With the frustration over the last couple of years during the development of the GTP Nissan, we spoke to Don Devendorf of the great persistence and the great satisfaction after 2 straight victories.
To have it come through and verify that our basic performance concepts were right from the beginning, the overall package concept, see this thing really starting to show the performance that we have really been seeking is really extremely rewarding.
With commitments to Hughes Aircraft and Nissan, both very demanding and yet quite different jobs, we asked Don how he was able to combine these 2 very different careers.
Well, they both have their own unique challenges. You know, there are times, you know, as you go through racing careers and things like that, where the racing being more of a hobby and is more of a fun sort of a thing, but as it gets to be more of a professional activity like it is at this time, there are often times I go back to Hughes and the problems are very refreshing to deal with. So, I mean, it goes back and forth depending upon what's happening and, you know, the kind of problems that you're faced with. I'm fortunate enough that I have some ability to do that and contribute in both areas and get to see a lot of the really interesting sides of the problems instead of the routine day-to-day portions.
Don Devendorf, who's put his heart, his soul, his finances, everything into making this thing work, and it's now being shown back in 4th position after it made that pit stop.
Well, Don has been a master of perseverance over the last couple of years. They have had some incredible heartbreaks. In fact, there was one race, I think at Portland, they led virtually the entire race only to run out of gas with, what, a lap to go. Heartbreaking.
25 minutes, 9 seconds are by in the 3 hours that will mark the Grand Prix here today at Lime Rock, Connecticut. International Motorsports Association prototype racing live on ESPN.
Natural carbon particles embedded in rosins that make it as strong as steel. It was first used in tubs, the chassis component to which the various suspension and mechanical parts are attached. But it is also extremely resistant to heat, making it useful for brake discs and these, clutch plates. On top of everything else, it is extremely lightweight. This entire clutch assembly, made of steel and carbon fiber, weighs about 8 pounds. A unit made entirely of steel, on the other hand, weighs in at a hefty 25 pounds or so. In addition to its strength and its resistance to heat and its light weight, carbon fiber is virtually indestructible.
We're back with you live at Lime Rock, Connecticut. It's the Camel Grand Prix. And we're about 26 minutes into it. We now have Martin Brundle leading. Chip Robinson, defending champion in the event, has moved into second place. Price Cobb moves up to third. Jeff Brabham back to fourth after his pit stop. Lammers in the second Jaguar is in fifth. Chip Meade in the Chevrolet is running in sixth, and the Pontiac is now in seventh, that is leading in the Camel Light competition. And Ivan Capelli has taken over in the Ferrari Elba today. Interesting story, Melgretti, the regular driver, was fired earlier this weekend, and Capelli has taken over at the controls. A little difference of opinion on that team. So there's been a new driver, and it currently leads. And, of course, they've worked for a couple of years getting that thing sorted out. Now a lot of them wish they take it home. It just flies when it's on the dime.
Well, there's one of the European teams on the circuit, and they're noted for being very fiery with outbursts of everything under the sun, plus spectacular pit stops.
Costas Loss, the Greek-born resident of England, is running in second place in the car number 97 in the Camel Light category, and McKettrick in the 79 is currently being shown in third, one of those Pontiac Firebirds.
That number 80 car, Ken, with the Ferrari motor, is reputed by the other GTP Light competitors to be the most powerful car out here. The little Ferrari engine, I guess, gets its name honestly, and they say on a straight, nothing stays close to it.
And some of those other competitors say too powerful.
They do. They want weight penalties. It's interesting looking at this field right now that we've got Brundle in the lead, and that's because the Nissan of Jeff Brabham made a pit stop. Brabham on the track right now is about 500 feet behind the leading Jaguar.
And he's the car that we're going to be watching as they bring in the Viscar Lewis number 55, which crashed out here and has brought out a full course caution at Lime Rock in our ESPN coverage. Let me remind you that June 10th and 11th, ESPN takes you to Le Mans, the greatest endurance race in the world. You'll see it live here on ESPN. Some 5.5 hours of full coverage is planned, and our own Bob Barsha will be bringing you the broadcast. So be with ESPN the weekend of June 10th and 11th to enjoy the 24 hours of Le Mans as only ESPN can do it.
Well, I offered to carry Bob's camera bag or cook for him, but he's obviously eaten my cooking before and doesn't want me along.
He doesn't even want you as a chauffeur. He's ridden with you.
No.
Hey, let me tell you guys, I can't wait to go to Le Mans with ESPN. I've never been there. I've heard all the horror stories. I don't believe in one of them. It's going to be a great race. A lot of the guys you're watching run today, people like Price Cobb and Cyril Vandermerwe. Two of the Jaguar cars are going over. Danny Sullivan's going to join him with a more or less American Jaguar effort over there. We know the Andretti's are going to be driving. Father, son, and nephew, Michael, Mario, and John are driving a factory Porsche. It's going to be a great race, and I hope you'll all tune in.
Take your allergy and your sleeping pills, Robert.
I, for one, will certainly be watching that race. It is very, very spectacular, and the speeds there are unmatched by any other place on Earth, with cars getting 235 and 240 miles an hour down that long 4-mile straight.
Well, thus far in this contest today, the Porsche 962 that has won the last 2 years. You started to mention earlier here about this Porsche. We were saying that with the temperature this high, this is the one thing that could work to the Porsche's advantage. However, as we saw earlier this year, that ain't necessarily so.
Not any longer. The Porsche has ruled this series for so long. It's what, 49 wins now. It's just an astonishing, reliable car. But the Nissan really was a bit of a shock. Running that extremely high horsepower turbocharged motor in the heat of West Palm Beach, it performed without a hitch. Just beautiful.
Where does this racetrack fall on the spectrum of American tracks? Here it is, it's 1.5 miles. There's some that are much longer. There's some 4 or 5. We have those street courses as we take a look from the in-car at this beautiful track that reminds me a great deal of Brands Hatch for its loveliness. Where does this track fit in the spectrum of American road course?
Well, it's interesting. Normally on a very short course, it's not a particularly exciting track to drive, but this one is short. It's only 1.5 miles around, as you say, and yet it's very, very difficult, very challenging track, and right here is one of the most challenging parts. When you pop up over the crest of that hill, you feel the front wheels get light, and you don't want them getting too light. You don't have the option of pulling back on the wheel.
One of the drivers told me it was like a giant tilt-a-whirl when you come over that wheel. You just feel yourself coming up against the straps, and you feel like you're just going to be revolving out there.
Now, what Brundle is going to do, he's obviously been made aware by his pit crew of exactly where the Nissan is, and he'll have orders to go like a scalded cat. As fast as he can, get as much of a lead as possible, because Brabham definitely will try and run through the pack as quickly as possible to run him down. Brabham's got the option of really doing the Jaguar damage if he can catch back up again, because he's already made one of those critical pit stops. The Jag still has 2 stops to make.
Brundle in the number 60, trying to pull away to a big advantage down the hill, sweeping through at about 140 miles an hour into the final corner down the main straightaway. And he builds up a tremendous immediate lead, just draws away from the second place man by a couple of seconds out here. Trying to find his way through the field is Jeff Brabham. Now, Brabham came from the back at Road Atlanta a couple of times here earlier this season, was able to catch up to Jaguars. It'll be fascinating to see if he can do the same today.
I expect he will try just that. He's got the lights set up, and he's hot underway right now. Plus, the little stop that we've had, it's given him a chance to cool off.
There's the number 97, which had been running second in Camel Light. Loss, L-O-S, the driver that is driving the machine. Here's Pat Patterson.
Pat? The 97 car is in, gentlemen, and the problem on it was an intermittent miss. They checked the wiring in the back to see if perhaps one of the spark plug wires or one of the distributor wires was messed up on the car. Apparently that's not the problem, and when they just tried to fuel the car, they just had a bad fuel spill over here on the driver's side. So they've got the rear body of the car up now, and they're trying to work on it, but I don't really think, and they don't really think they know exactly what it is at this point.
Pat, did you notice when they were refueling, did the fuel get pumped back out to give an indication of possibly an air bubble in the tank?
Yeah, it did. It did, as a matter of fact, Bill, and I wondered about that. Perhaps maybe that was what was causing the miss. Is that possible?
There's the lights leader in trouble. Capelli has run the Alba Ferrari off. It's trying to get refired and back into this thing, but it will have some making up to do here today. Ivan Capelli bringing around car number 80 from the Gaspin Andre Racing stable. We can see a bit of it here.
Oops, just off the end of the straight, I believe. It's just down by turn 1. Oh, and he gets so close to that tire wall, but no damage to the car.
And he's back underway.
I wonder if he's remembering that the previous driver got fired.
Number 79, McKettrick, now moves up with loss in the pits. Capelli off in the weeds. McKettrick, Morgan, Loring. Run 1, 2, 3 in Camel Light here at this juncture, which is just past the half-hour mark of the 3 to be run today. Brundle in first with 5 seconds over Robinson, and it's Brundle to Brabham, the third-place car, 11 seconds, first to third. Then in fourth lies Cobb. Fifth is Lommers in the Jag. Then sixth is Chip Mead in the Chevy. Seventh is the Pontiac with Klein. And eighth is the Corvette from the Hendrick stable, Vandermeer, with ninth being shown as Adams, and 10th the Buick of Rowe and Moretti. They only brought one of those Buicks that had such a disastrous season to date.
They really have. It's been just terribly disappointing for me. I spent a year with a Buick engine and thought they were just incredibly great motors. Very reliable and extremely powerful. The chassis have not lived up to any expectations at all.
There you see the leader. And it continues to be Martin Brundle, drawing a bead and trying to draw away from the second-place runner, Chip Robinson. Robinson under orders to stay right on the track level here this afternoon, or is he just going for it?
Well, I'll tell you, Brundle's really going for it right now. He is not wasting any time here going by any of the other traffic. I think that lead that he wants to get over Brabham is very evident right now. He's slashing his way through this.
There you see him around the 9 car. David Loring in that car. He was the winner in the light race with Tom Hesser. Daytona, Sebring, West Palm, currently third overall in the Norelco Cup standings. Here we have the number 14, Chip Robinson. Good, consistent driver. Worked his way up, worked hard for the opportunity to drive for Al Holbert. And the year that he really gets a chance to solo and show his wings is the year that Nissan unloads a bombshell, and the English come over here with a team like the United States hasn't seen in years.
Well, the Holbert team have really had a very uncharacteristic season. They've had a lot of failures and a lot of mistakes, and that has not been part of Holbert racing. They have been almost the perfect team of motorsport. They rarely make a mistake, either in the pits or on the track. And this year, their share of bad luck and bad judgment has caught up with them.
On this weekend, to commemorate our World War dead here in America, a great battle between several countries taking place in this International Motorsports Association contest. And we see another car has looped and come to rest. The number 24 car sitting it out for a moment from the Camel Light Series. And I think getting underway right there, that's Robert Nagel's car.
Oh, and he's got a flat left rear tire. Look at this. It's right down low.
Now, there's the 09 Pontiac.
I believe that car that we saw, the Bob Nagel car, I think that's the old Ken Madron March Buick that Pegasus Racing used to run. In fact, I drove it once, and it's a great car.
You like driving this track?
I always did, yes. It's very satisfying to drive.
Car number 09 continuing to show its position here. And let's get Bob Barsha in as we follow this car that is running a bit back off the top 10 in the prototype class. Get a word from Bob Barsha about it.
Ken, this is a very important race for the Jiffy Lube Pontiac team. Ed Wheeler is the crew chief. Car owner Steve Durst would normally share driving duties with Mike Brockman, but Brockman's going it alone today. Ed, tell us why.
Well, Steve's got a 16-month-old son named Zachary, and middle of last week, I think it was Thursday, Zachary wandered into a lake behind Steve's house and was underwater for a bit. Steve found him, rushed him to the hospital. He's in intensive care for several days. He's doing better now, but we still have a lot of prayers and thoughts going out to him in Cherry Hill and Philadelphia area. So Steve put his priorities in order, and that's why he's not here.
And there's a lot of folks pulling for that 09 Pontiac.
And I think a lot of folks across America now praying for that youngster.
Definitely. What a tragic thing. We hope he's all right.
Mike Brockman of Los Angeles continuing to run the 09. Just outside, he's showing 12th now, being shown 12th overall on the field with Brockman in Durst colors, number 09 here at Lime Rock, still flying high.
Looking for a fun job with above-average income? Consider bartending full or part-time. The International Bartending Institute can turn you into a certified mixologist in only 40 hours. That's right. A bartending course doesn't take 300 hours and costs thousands of dollars, and our program is licensed and approved by the Georgia Board of Education. Classes are forming right now with job placement assistance upon graduation. Call the International Bartending Institute at 321-0809. That's 321-0809.
This is the enemy for every individual who suffers hair loss. This is the battlefield where hundreds of apparently healthy hairs are lost each day. The cause may be poor nutrition, sebaceous buildup, stress, or heredity. The National Therapy Clinic for Hair and Scalp can analyze your hair loss problem and recommend a treatment program to stimulate growth. Operators are standing by. Call now for information or surrender to the enemy.
Live at Lime Rock in the Camel Grand Prix. Interesting pit strategy about to develop as a result of that long caution we had when the 55 Pontiac went off into the Tuoleys. All of the cars have been pitting on different schedules, including the Jaguar, which gets about the same amount of gas mileage as the Porsches do, about 70 minutes to a tank of gas. It's going to be interesting to see who starts pitting and in what order. Only one more pit stop should be necessary to go the rest of the way here at Lime Rock.
Thank you, Bob. Continuing to lead is that Jag, looking for its second win of the season. When we saw it in its first performance at Daytona, it looked like it might just carry the entire season. Not the case, as Nissan has come back. Price Cobb has had some great races this year. And right now we have Jag leading here with a interval being shown as 8 seconds between first and second, and 11 3/10 seconds back to the third place man, who is now Brabham. Brabham has moved around the Cobb Weaver Dyson car number 18. There you see the third place car attempting to close on Chip Robinson in car number 14, the 962 that is housed in second place. Leading in Camel Lights is McKittrick. David Loring is running in second. Morgan is third in Camel Lights at this juncture.
And he is really closing fast. There's our fourth place car, fourth place battle actually right there. Very, very close. Look at this back and forth now. The 962 versus the Jaguar. Again, a turbocharged, under 3-liter motor, 5-liter V12. Watch them as they come off corner. See if you can tell differences between the cars. There's that beautiful NTW Ford there.
The 61 car closing right in again. Remember, that car spun earlier and now has picked the pace back up and is challenging Jan Lammers out of Holland in the Jaguar number 61.
Well, this number 18 car is really a very quick car. It's a brand new chassis that Dyson just had built. It took a little bit of time to sort it out. They weren't completely happy with it at Palm Beach. Oh, and he's smoking a lot
out of turbo.
That doesn't look very good. Whoops. That was a very kind move there just to let the Jag pass. I think he's slowing down.
I think he's slowing down dramatically. I think that James Weaver may be on pit road this time by.
Slow. Oh, yes. Yeah, he's got a turbo problem.
Weaver having big trouble here. And one of the 962s looks like it's going to expire as we reach the 44-minute mark. Hour number 1. Lap leader speed 115 miles per hour on Brundle in the last lap. Bob Barsha is standing by in the Dyson pits to see what the situation here is on car number 16 and if it can be remedied. On car number 18, beg your pardon. Cobb and Weaver in the 18, Dyson in the 16. And here he is coming down toward pit road off the final corner, turn 7.
Get the stop.
Let's go right down into the pits now and see what the story is on James Weaver.
Well, the Weaver car, number 18, pulls in. Crew chief Pat Smith wanders over to the passenger side door, if you will. Driver's side door pops open for Weaver. Andile engineers going in to ask him what's the problem, but the hood is coming off, and you know that's never a good sign, especially in a race this short. There's no time to waste, but nothing is smoking as the hood comes off. I can't see any obvious damage. There's no leaks. There's no liquid of any kind anywhere, but they're poking around underneath the intercooler area. That's where the air comes in and gets cooled before it goes through the turbocharger. Colder air is more dense, and they can get even more into those cylinders, create more horsepower. But right now, the Dyson crew is kind of a miss as to what might be the problem here.
I think one of the things we may see is Price Cobb climb into the Dyson car as he attempts to get more points. Remember, the Dyson brought 2 cars here to Lime Rock.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that this is critical right now. Here we're back inside watching Rob Dyson himself. Just right over the top of the straight. Downhill now. 4th gear just sliding into 5th. And that's the point where he's starting to get back on real
And that's 9th place. That is 9th place. And now look at this battle developing. Car number 14 at Robinson, the 962. Closing is Brabham, and they're about to go at it for 2nd place. Ken Robinson fended off this Nissan, number 83.
So impressive. Jeff Brabham has made a pit stop, and he's back up challenging 2nd place already.
So there's literally no interval between that 2nd and 3rd place.
Nothing at all.
And we'll check 1st to 2nd here.
Brabham's getting close enough that I think within a lap or so, he's going to get a shot at maybe passing Chip down the front straight. The spot he wants to do it is at the end of the straight. Use the speed, the great downforce this Nissan is developing. And the downforce doesn't just help a cornering speed, it also helps under braking. You can push the brake pedal a lot harder because the wheels aren't going to lock up. It's as if the car weighs 2 or 3 times what its normal weight is.
James Weaver has just climbed out of the Dyson car, which is eventually done for the day. James, what's wrong?
I think it's probably blown a piston or something. It was detonating a little bit. It got worse and worse, and tried to catch it on the mixture. Didn't want to know, and whatever it was got worse and worse, then eventually lost all its boost. It started smoking. So I think it was time to call it quits, unfortunately.
Well, now the Dyson team's hopes are in the hands of car owner Rob Dyson and their number 16 machine.
Meanwhile, Scott Schubert, Linda Ludeman pitted their car in the Camel Light category as we continue to watch this battle heat up for 2nd place. Winners in the last 2 seasons, Colburn Racing in the gold, white, and red. Number 14 under heavy pressure now from the number 83 Nissan, right there challenging.
Here he goes. Now he's going to be filling up Chip's mirrors, and Chip is very aware of who's back there. Those lights are right there in his mirror. Great battle developing here.
How many gear shifts per lap?
On this track, it's not as bad as others because it stays a relatively high-speed track, about 10 per lap.
Remember, they qualified at over 122 miles per hour. The team that took the pole, the number 83 team, shattering all previous. Everybody was up over the old record pretty well.
Extremely, very impressive. I think the top 6 cars were all under the record, and yet last year's record was a very fast time by Price Cobb.
79. Looking like it is slowing down. Actually, I think it's probably trundling right along at a pretty good pace.
Very,
Look
very
at the
fast.
pounding that these prototype cars take here. We watch this contest for 2nd place at Lime Rock live on ESPN this Memorial Weekend afternoon. Bill Adam, I'm Ken Squire, Bob Barsha, and Pat Patterson, pleased to bring you live this 3-hour motorsports contest from this great and beautiful facility in New England.
Well, a good example to compare the king of GTP racing, the Porsche 962, with the new Challenger. Here's the Nissan, just getting squeezed off there. That's going to give Chip a break. Jeff had to just wait before he got on the gas. Wasn't quite sure what the GTP light car there was going to do.
Well, the Nissan has the reputation of if it can stay in the race, it can win races. The issue was always longevity.
Exactly. It has had such a terrible history of racing, of things breaking. Very frustrating, but now it appears to be such a solid automobile.
Let's see what old Patterson has for us now.
Well, yesterday in Charlotte, North Carolina, Junior Johnson's engine did pretty good. He got Terry Labonte somewhere in the top 10 for a finish there, Ken Squire. But today, you're looking at a Junior Johnson engine that's not doing so well. It's the number 8 car of Chip Meade and Tim McAdam. They just got out of the car a moment ago. They've had some problems with it, and they're awfully proud of their stock car motor, but apparently today it's not going to hold up.
Remember, they had run as high as 6th position today. Not to finish. Brundle in first, Robinson second, Brabham third, the Jaguar of Lammers in fourth. Klein is being shown in fifth. The Corvette of Van der Merwe is running in sixth. More from Lime Rock shortly. At the 51st minute in the IMSA Racing Diary, it will be marked that car number 83 leaped by car number 14. Brabham around the Porsche 962 of Robinson, and let's show you just exactly how that move was constituted.
Again, right down the front straight. Flat out, these fellas, 160 miles an hour, and in the inside. Deep, deep braking. Look at the stability of this car. Hardly a shake as he just cleanly gets by Robinson. Not even a problem for him.
Hardest braking point on the track?
Definitely. They're slowing down from 160 down to about 90 to 100 mile an hour range. Very, very late braking as well.
12-second interval now between the first place car, number 60, Martin Brundle in the 12-cylinder Jaguar, and the turbo-powered 6-cylinder car of Jeff Brabham, number 83, maintaining second. Robinson is in third, Lammers Jag fourth, Klein in the Pontiac is up to fifth, Van der Merwe's Corvette is sixth. Then Adams in the Porsche 962, number 10 is seventh. Rob Dyson is maintaining eighth. Rowe and Moretti are in ninth in the Buick March, and Brockman in the 09, that Firebird, is running back in 10th position. The Buick is now on pit road. Rowe and Moretti, the 9th place car, just coming down into the pit. Here's the car in second place, and the major force in this event at Lime Rock on this weekend of great competition. Rick Mears winning Indianapolis, Darrell Waltrip yesterday, and the third member of the great triumvirate of American racers will be decided this afternoon here at Lime Rock, Connecticut, live on ESPN. Oh, a little instability there.
The Jag always looks like it's so unstable under very, very hard braking or a transition period over bumps. It doesn't look like a happy car, and part of this is because they have to spring it so heavily. I talked with Davy Jones about this, and they say that they've tried softer springs to make it a little more comfortable to drive, but it just does not respond as well to the actual racing business. They have to give up driver comfort to make it go quickly.
Now, you see the Dyson car, and I think that car is going down a lap. Has it been down once before? Did we see it?
I believe it does, yes.
There's the in car. For the second time, we see those leaders scooting through.
And watch this. Now, here we're in a turbocharged car, and watch the Jag. Just immediately as we exit that corner, the Jag gains 2-3 lengths. It's got the power right there when you want it.
There is lag in a turbo, isn't there? How much? Explain that to me.
What lag is with a turbocharger spinning, you're developing all of the horsepower. When you lift your foot off the gas, there's a valve that opens and allows the pressure of the motor that's been run by the turbocharger to vent itself into the atmosphere. When you put your foot back down, the valve has to close and that pressure has to build up. So depending on what RPM you're at, it can be anywhere from 3 seconds or 1 second. But there is that lag. You anticipate the lag in one of these cars.
And in the normally aspirated Jaguar?
You lift your foot off the gas, and in this car, like the number 60 Jag, you put your foot back down, you've still got your 700 horsepower right there.
Car number 60, Martin Brundle, staying in the first position. Checking that interval back to see what the Nissan is doing to eat into this lead.
Great-looking cars, these Castrol Cats.
How do you think they're going to do at Le Mans this year?
It's awfully difficult to beat Porsche. They took a good run at it last year and had things happen like never before. Oh, it looks like he's coming in the pits. No, he's not. Just took a great inside line. Stay off the way of everybody else.
You saw him going by McKittrick in the 79, leading that Pontiac Firebird Camel Lights division. In second in the Camel Lights right now is Bonato. And third is David Loring.
All of the Jaguar drivers are quite spectacular to watch. It appears that they're all on qualifying laps and trying as hard as they can. They go in so close to a corner time after time after time. It almost looks like they don't run an endurance pace. They run sprint races for 3 or 6 or 12 hours.
Looking at the overall running here today, 26 cars started the event, and we gave you a rundown of all of them still participating. And we note now that the interval between first and second stands at 12 6/10 of a second. This will be a major victory if Jag can pull it off. After the tremendous assault in the 24 hours of Daytona, many people thought that the 1988 season would be a walkover for them, but not the case. Porsche has come back and won 2. Nissan has 2 marvelous victories to their credit, and Jag knows they have their work cut out for them. I think Tom Walkinshaw might have got a false impression of just how difficult this season was going to be based upon their great performance back in February in Daytona.
I'm sure he did. There was no doubt about it that he thought he was coming over with an effort that could potentially steamroll the opposition, and this has not been the case. The opposition has been more than up to the task of giving a good challenge and even beating the Jags.
And it has brought out record crowds as we're seeing here today.
Look at this. Every lap that we're watching Martin Brundle go around this number 60 Jaguar, he is using up every last inch right there, right to the edge of the roadway. There is nothing left to get. He's using that car as hard as he can, lap after lap, and he wants to try and build that cushion. Again, he's aware the Nissan has stopped, and he knows that's an advantage for Brabham.
The third-place Camel Light car, Loring, has just pitted. He is on pit road, and Pat Patterson is standing by with some more on the Jaguar story.
Tony Dow's a crew chief on the car. Tony, everything seems to be going your way right now. Anything you're particularly concerned with?
Not really.
The car performing about like you thought it would here? It appears that they're pushing the car quite a bit. Is that the strategy at this point, to get as far ahead as possible?
Oh, yes. We're not going to be able to spare the car at all.
When will you have to pit the car?
Fairly shortly.
Okay, we'll stand by for that, Ken Squire.
Did you get a lot of information out of that?
I think that's British diplomacy.
I think that's British cover-up. There you see Martin Brundle in car number 60. Meanwhile, the number 9 car is still on pit road. Loring, which has been making a stout move, and they've had the tail of the car off here, working in the engine department. Meanwhile, up in front, car number 60 continues to pull away, leading by 16 and 0.3 of a second, building up a bigger advantage now. Here's the 12-cylinder Jaguar here in the Lime Rock Camel Grand Prix. More live on ESPN shortly.
In the pits of third-place Camel runner David Loring, who won this race a couple years ago. They've got electrical problems in this car that ran so well earlier this year at Daytona and then at Miami. The battery has run flat because it's not charging as the car runs. They've added a new battery, and they're trying to fix the connection. David Loring wants back in this race. He has been virtually unbeatable at this racetrack. This would be 3 straight if David Loring can get back out there and get back into the hunt at Camel Lights.
Well, he's dropping back dramatically here. McKettrick is leading. Bonato is in second. Morgan is third. Gromes out of Portsmouth, New Hampshire is fourth. Hessert in the number 19 car. The sister car to 9 is up to 5th. Jim Downing is running 6th with Howard Camp in the Mazda Argo. Linda Ludeman is being shown in 7th, and Loring is back into 8th now. That's in Camel Light. Back underway. That car which made that amazing re-entry, rebirth at West Palm after it was totally destroyed, and they fabricated the thing out of wood down one side. Here's car number 60, continuing to draw away. He is pulling away from the Nissan at this point. Martin Brundle having an excellent run, and instead of being reeled in by that powerful Nissan, that's not happening. The reverse is true.
Here's Jeff Brabham. He's just at the end of the front straight, just going into that long turn 1 right now. He's a fair bit behind him on the track, and I really can't explain it. Jeff appeared to be hauling him in at one point, then it stabilized, and as you say, the Jag is now pulling away to a little bit of a lead. What is going to play a real critical point is that we're coming up very close to a halfway point of the race. If the Jag is able to make it to the halfway point, that means they could probably finish with only that one fuel stop. Now, we have to consider they did run a number of laps with a pace car being out there, and that obviously helped the fuel mileage.
By how much?
Difficult to tell. They have onboard systems where they can lean out the motor and try and help it get as good mileage as possible, and also so that it doesn't load up. It's not over-rich. These engines currently, the way that car is sitting right this second on the track, is to use up as much fuel as possible efficiently. Not let it run too rich or too lean. When they slow down, they still have that rich setting so the dial can turn it down.
Here's Pat Patterson.
Well, we wanted to tell you that the tires they're getting ready to put onto the lead car just came out of tire blankets. And these are exactly what I was talking about, is hot tires that they'll actually be putting onto the car. John Nielsen's getting ready to go in the car in just a moment. We'll cover that pit stop for you.
17.5 seconds, by which car number 16, or rather number 60, is drawing away from the field. If you're just joining us, there was near tragedy here 2 days ago. John Morton had a terrible crash in a brand new Nissan prototype. At better than 140 miles per hour, it became airborne and went end over end. The report is that they've done plastic surgery to his face, his left cheek. He cracked the septum bone in his nose. That's badly swollen up, but no other breaks. Originally, they thought he'd lost some teeth and that he'd also broken some ribs. That story is not true. He is here at the track. He spoke to us as we came on the air today. He's looking forward to getting back and racing, but it will probably be Watkins Glen on July the 4th before we'll see John Morton, one of my favorite drivers, perform again.
Really a nice fellow. John is very fortunate. Anytime you walk away from a 140-mile-an-hour crash, you're lucky.
And particularly one where you get that much air into the car and then it starts moving. It went over on its top, then back onto its wheels. It sailed for some several hundred feet, and the car, as we showed at the top of the program, was an absolute loss. There was nothing to take home.
Well, thankfully, these cars, looking at the Jaguar, we really can't see it too well, but inside that roof, inside the canopy, is a very complex system of tubes, the roll cage that hopefully does keep all of the drivers safe in the event of a crash like that. It did its job. John was able to walk out of this horrifying crash with nothing more than a few scrapes and cuts. And we're all very glad that he was able to get out.
Here you see number 60 continuing to draw away, and we'll check the interval for you and attempt to show it to you now between the first and second place cars. Here at Lime Rock, Connecticut this afternoon is Brundle and Brabham are running first and second, and Chip Robinson, the winner of the last two previous years, has been relegated to third. Jan Lammers is fourth, and Van der Merwe is fifth. And here's second place, and there you see the interval back to 15 seconds as they pick some time up in traffic.
Now, Jeff doesn't want this interval to get too much. Obviously, if it does, the Jag could make a stop and come out right with Brabham.
On this stop, they would take on tires, would they not?
I expect they will, the way they're driving. They're using this car up very, very well.
So that would have to be at least, what, 20 seconds?
Well, I'm going to guess that the stop will probably be 30 seconds, but with your entry time and exit time back onto the track, you can probably add another 10 seconds to that. And a lap at Lime Rock is under 50 seconds. So you're very close to losing a lap on a pit stop.
And your consideration is that this time does not have 2 minutes or 1 minute. The Jag. Let's go to Pat Patterson.
Okay, the most critical move of this race may be happening right now. John Nielsen slides into the car. Martin Brundle comes out. Now, Brundle will help him get completely fastened into the car. As the crew works on both sides, they'll change all 4 tires. And again, they're putting on hot tires. So they should be able to stick to the pavement much, much quicker than if you put the cold tires on. Now, they're getting the driver strapped in. Now you see Nielsen. He's in the car. Hands up behind the car. It's going to be a great stop, and they're counting on.
Car number 60 is away.
That really was a great stop, too. He was only down about 30 or 35 seconds.
1 hour, 5 minutes when he came in. There's number 97 on pit road. That car, or rather in the grass, that car has been in and out several times today, and it looks like Costas Loss from London, England, is not going to be around for the finish of this one.
No, I think old Costas has lost some power.
Now, car number 60 pitted on lap 74. If he was going to go 150 laps, he would have pitted one lap shy of halfway. There is the leader after the pit stop, number 83, Brabham, reappropriating first position. Again, it was lap 74 at the 1 hour, 5 minute mark that car number 60 came in for a change of drivers, and the thing was reshod.
Now, very interesting right there. Brabham followed that car, the 79 car, which is a light car, the entire length of the back straight. I wonder if Brabham may have some slight problem.
Well, it wasn't catching up that number 60 earlier, and that, I think, is still a major consideration here today. Nielsen is in car number 60, and the driver just out, Martin Brundle, is with Pat Patterson.
Martin, what a great run you were having out there. You really had, the car seems to be dialed in perfectly, and you're having a good run.
Yeah, the car started off understeering a bit, or pushing, I think you call it. Then it neutraled up, but the track is getting very, very slippery now. It's hard work out there. The back markers, you need extra concentration for them and different lines, and the track's very bumpy offline. Same for everybody, of course. But, yeah, that was one of the hardest stints I've done in America this year.
It's hard to get out of the car and give it to someone else, but in John Nielsen, you've got a driver that can run it just as hard as you can.
Yeah, we've got a lot of trust in each other. This is unusual. We're both single-seater drivers, really, but we get a very good rapport, which is important when you come and do something like this. You become a team member rather than having a bigger ego as you probably would in a single-seater. But, yeah, I'm more than happy John's in the car, and I think we're looking good.
Okay, best of luck to you. They've just changed again in the 61 car, and we'll try to get a word over there in just a moment, gentlemen.
Car number 61 that had been running in third. The second Jag comes in at lap 76. Correction, at lap 76 was when they pitted the second Jag. So it was one over the halfway line. Looks like they can go halfway. They were being just conservative on that first car in.
Well, I would think it's going to be very close because they did have the luxury of quite a number of laps. And at very best, these cars are going to get about 4.5 miles per gallon under race conditions. And here's our American challenger. The old Fab car did not expire, so Junior Johnson is smiling.
150 laps, 3 hours. Whoever comes around the quickest will be the decision on this. Grand Prix of Lime Rock, Connecticut. There's the Fab car.
Just being driven very gently. I think that's Tim McAdam in there now. Chip Mead started the car, and during the stop, Tim jumped in.
And it has not had a good day. It was in for considerable time, as Bill pointed out, trying to pick itself up. And there's one of the old Fords, now in privateer livery, and not having a particularly good day either.
Now, great looking car. Really good.
In car from Ron Dyson. And he continues to motor along in the 7th position this afternoon with his 962.
Now, see the view we're getting here. We're starting to see the windshield getting very, very streaked with oil, rubber, bugs, tar, or other competitors' body parts, and so on. As the day goes on, the vision gets worse and worse, and you really start to look forward to your pit stop where you can hopefully get a good clean windshield from your crew. Now, people watch the Nissan as we're going around here. See those two fins on the front end? Much different than any other vehicle. Look at them just sticking out the air there, and you think, well, it's going to be such a hindrance to very clean aerodynamics. What this is, it's a peculiarity. They need to put this on for Lime Rock to stop the car doing the liftoff that it did with John Morton in the car.
If you're just joining us, we're live from Lime Rock, 1.53 miles, 7-turn course, and right now it is a confrontation between the Japanese and Great Britain as the Brabham has gone back in front, taking the lead after the Jags were pitted, and Chip Robinson finds himself coming to second place. Checking on the exact positioning now after these pit stops of cars numbers 60 and 61 from the Jag team. The Jaguars would be running in third and fourth, we believe. That's unofficial. We're checking it back for you now. 1 hour, 10 minutes into our live coverage from Lime Rock today as we continue to watch Jeff Brabham in with their third win of 88. "82 laps have now been completed by the leader. Let's go back and take a look at the mid-race Volkswagen recap. At 75 laps, John Nielsen, the leader, had led 47 of those 75 as he continued to keep Jaguar up in front with one exception. The period when car number 83 was scooting along in the lead. That has been the only change in leadership. There has been one caution on the race when the Vizcar Lewis Pontiac crashed, brought out a full course caution here. And of the 26 starters, 22 remain. Here are those officially out of the race, and there's one more that's a tad iffy right now. We've also had a driver change on the Dyson car just at midway. Rob Dyson, the car owner, has stepped out. Price Cobb has assumed the driving chores. We ought to see that car picked up a little. I mean, Rob will accept that graciously. He's a very fine car owner, pretty good driver, but Price Cobb is exceptional, and he has now taken over the control of our in-car camera machine here at Lime Rock today.
Well, it really shows the importance of Price's decision not to start. Obviously, if he had got into the one car, he would now be out of the race. As it is, he was able to choose the right car, and he's continuing on to get points.
Now they're saying that Chip Robinson's car might be coming down a tad in power here. That would be too bad for Chip Robinson if he tries to make it 3 in a row. Robinson is running in second place. Brabham stays in first. Brundle, Nielsen now driving, is in third. And Davy Jones has replaced Jan Lammers in the other XJR9, running in fourth. Elliott Forbes Robinson has taken over in car number 52, the Hendrick Corvette, which is running in fifth. And maintaining sixth now is Bob Earl in the Pontiac.
Well, Chip's about to have a real good battle here because that's Price Cobb that we just see right behind every time the camera gets on a long shot. There he is just entering the back straight now. He's going along a very bumpy section here. It's really not a straight. normally as straight as a place where you can relax a little bit, loosen your grip on that steering wheel just for a fraction of a second to kind of give your muscles a little thank you. Not at Lime Rock. You're constantly working.
Well,
there is Price, just coming right up on his tail.
Price Cobb trying to move in on car number 14. All he's been able to do for the past hour is just 2 on his thumb. Now he gets a chance to work a little on the back of car number 14.
And a shot of Robinson heading for the pits, I think, just as Price goes down the front straight.
And is the case. On pit road is number 14, Robinson. Cobb making up some time here. Then remember, that car is running a couple of laps down to the leader.
I think for the viewers, too, that are wondering why Chip is staying in the car and Derek Bell is not getting in. Derek Bell is not here. I believe he's in Europe competing in one of the World Endurance Championship races.
Chip Robinson, who is a great runner, does 6 or 7 miles a day, likes to enter 10K races, has some interest in doing a little marathon running, too, is in great condition. Easily can make this 150-lap or 3-hour route this afternoon.
Yeah, great stop there, too. The Holbert crew did their usual marvelous job.
And you saw those course workers at work. I think they're the ones that get A+ that we never hear too much about. They are truly hidden heroes, those folks.
They can never get enough thanks. That the man we saw there, it's his job to signal Chip out onto the track only if it's safe. Now, obviously, Chip doesn't have a view out of his mirrors to really tell if it's a safe line onto the track. He depends totally on the man at the end of the pit lane, and if the man is signaling him out, he knows he's got a good shot. You'll watch they'll give different little signals, sometimes to keep in close on the pit exit that there's maybe a car in the middle of the track, but invaluable people.
86 laps have been completed, 1 hour, 15 minutes down here today in the Grand Prix of Lime Rock, Connecticut on ES. And here's 2 cars off the track.
And can I believe those are the teammates?
Car number 40 is into the barrier and looks like he hit very hard, and his teammate, that is one of the Gaston Andre Ferrari Tigas that is in trouble. And you think the other one is the 81 as well?
Yeah, there it is, number 80 and 40.
So that is the car that had been scheduled from Algretti and Fanato, and at the last moment we saw a change of drivers on the car. Fanato was just in it, and the team cars of Gaston Andre have both come to rest in the same corner.
Boy, what were we talking about? One driver being fired a little while ago. I think may have to look around a little bit. Now, this is going to present an interesting situation here. I expect the pace car will come out, and if that happens, here we've got a whole new scenario for the end. The Nissan can make probably its final stop now.
A Ferrari Tiga, the number 40, which had started dead last on the field, is one of the 2, and the other was the car that we saw leading and have seen in victory a couple of occasions this year.
That's right.
The number 80 car.
That car sitting right there. He was running second place at the time, and there's number 40.
So both of them out, same corner, and apparently in the same incident.
That's the corner at the end of the back straight where it's just gentle braking. You let the car bend into this very fast uphill right-hand corner. Extremely dangerous and very difficult to do properly. And normally, people don't take a shot at passing at the entrance to a corner. I think that's just what happened.
This is the car that won at Miami and Atlanta that we're talking about as the second car in the incident. This is the car that has been the story of the entire weekend. The number 83, Jeff Brabham, is currently out in front, and the Jag, number 60, now being driven by John Nielsen, trying to chew into that lead.
Running through the heat.
Maintaining third now is Davy Jones. Robinson in the Al Holbert car is in fourth. And we see Bob Earl in fifth, with Elliott Forbes Robinson in the Corvette in sixth. Then the number 10 car is maintaining seventh place with Adams at the wheel. Jim Adams controlling that machine. Going in eighth is Brockman. Then ninth is Price Cobb, 2 laps back. Rowan Moretti in the Buick, they're running 10th. In Camel Lights, McKittrick is first. Morgan is second. Gromes is in third. There's Chip Robinson. Back to 4th position here today.
Looks like he's having a very nice, comfortable drive. I haven't seen Chip put a wheel wrong all day, and there's never any dust coming up off the wheel.
Hold the phone. Full course caution coming out at Lime Rock. Yellow all the way around the track, and the Nissan darts quickly onto pit road.
Again, this is twice he has done this with just perfect timing both times. That's excellent communication between the crew chief.
Here's Pat Patterson.
Well, as you can see, the Nissan is in. Jeff Brabham solo this afternoon as he sits and waits while Austin Pray's team goes to work, and they're going to change all 4 tires. They're putting ice now. The man that's going in the left side door is putting ice into the cool suit box to keep keep Jeff awfully cool with his suit on this afternoon, and you believe me, you can need it in this heat today.
And Pat,
yeah,
right behind him, the Jaguar pitted and came right back out again. Number 61 lumbering back out. A brilliant pit stop by Davy Jones, people.
We're gonna go back and get a word with the crew chief there in just a moment, Ken Squire. But as you can see, the Nissan's down and away.
The Nissan took some extra time. Maybe they don't think they have to hurry here.
Well, it really didn't cost them all that much. Jones was able to get out ahead of him after making that real fast stop. But I'm curious as to why another stop was necessary for the Jag. They were only in a few laps ago.
So we're under caution. Second full course caution of the day coming out of the Gaston Andre team. Collects itself and are out of the race. We'll be back with more from...
Back at Lime Rock, Connecticut, live here on ESPN. Bob Barsha on pit road along with Pat Patterson, Ken Squire, Bill Adam up top. We have a Jaguar in the lead here in the Camel Grand Prix at Lime Rock. The Nissan in second place, followed by Chip Robinson in a Porsche. Another team Jaguar. That Pontiac effort with Bob Earl. And then the Corvette in sixth position, a lap down to the 5 leaders. Pit strategy has been incredibly important in this race thus far, and the team that is making best use of what's given them are the Nissan. They've been using yellow flags to make both of their stops. They're presently in second position, but I have a feeling, Ken Squire, when that flag goes green once again, that the Nissan is gone.
Well, we'll see. Nielsen, tough driver, and on this 1.5-mile track, he's apt to get that car very wide if he possibly can. This is a very important race for Jag. They've only tasted victory once this season. Brabham will be in second. Then Robinson will be in third with a Porsche. Then Davy Jones being shown 1 lap down. Now, Davy Jones came in, I think, with an excessive amount of oil in the windshield when he pitted car number 61. He is back on the course. Maintaining the 5th position will be the Pontiac, Bob Earl. That car running consistently well in the last 2 or 3 IMSA prototype races. Then it's Elliott Forbes Robinson in the car number 52 that Cyril Vandenberger had qualified in 5th at the outset. Adams is running 7th. Price Cobb is in 8th. In 9th, Raul Moretti. And then comes Brockman in the 09, that Firebird GTB rounding out the top 10. Well, Bob, where are we here?
Bill Adam, this is Bob in the pits. I've got a question for you. If you're down to either the Jaguar or the Nissan with all the speed they've shown today, do you consider on a late stop like this maybe not filling the gas tank in order to be a little bit lighter and hoping to gain a little ground?
No, I think what I'd do if I was Nissan team manager at this point is fill the tank as full as I can get it and maybe just bump up that little boost gauge a little bit. Just add another 50 or 75 horsepower.
93 of 150 laps now being recorded. 1 hour, 25 minutes into the event. And the battle continues between Jag in front once again and the second place car, the Nissan. There have been 3 lead changes among 2 drivers thus far today. Brabham at the outset led for 27 laps. Then Martin Brundle took over, had a commanding lead for 39 laps.
Incredible racing. Gone are the days of runaway victories.
Chip Robinson being shown in that lead lap, and the 4th position, the Lammers-Jones car, and they are now being reported in the lead lap. They are not a lap down. They are in the lead lap, so we have 4 cars running up and front.
Well, this is going to take a little bit of time to clear up, too, there. We just got to picture the wrecker sitting on the side of the track trying to pull that off. And it's
have you seen this arena football?
I have.
The 50-yard indoor war. It's back on ESPN. The scoring will be fast and furious as the Pittsburgh Gladiators take on the Detroit Drive Thursday. It's at 8 o'clock. Catch all the action right here on ESPN. The action this afternoon to culminate a Memorial Weekend full of exciting motor racing from one end of the country to the other. You'll be getting the results with Motor Week Illustrated on ESPN as the week goes on. Is right here in Lime Rock. And Bob Barsha in this race now. We have that Jag for the moment on the point and the Brabham in second. Can you update us on those cars?
Well, I think it's going to be a great finish. I don't see a real advantage to either team. I'm looking forward to Motor Week, which you mentioned, Ken, because Martin Brundle and John Nielsen are going to join Dave Despain and myself this week on the program, and they may have a victory here at Lime Rock to talk about.
Running in first at the present time, but they've got a lot of work cut out for them if they intend to be there as winners this week on Motor Week with that Jeff Brabham number 83 Nissan ready to pounce in second place.
Now, through that nice clean windshield we're looking at right there, we're following the Fab car once again.
And you're looking from the view of the man running in 8th position here at Lime Rock. Price Cobb is in that Porsche 962 giving us these pictures.
really can't emphasize enough just how important that clean windshield is. You know how bad it is in a street car if you're driving, and if you get snow or slush up in your windshield or bugs, grease, whatever. But in a race car where you're running 160 miles an hour and trying to be very precise, use up all that pavement, you want to pick out every curb, every pothole, anything potentially that may cause damage to your car or cause a problem for you. The windshield is very, very important.
Let's go back to the Camel Light class for just a moment. McKittrick in number 79 is leading. Charlie Morgan is in second. Tom Hessert runs third. Grooms out of Portsmouth, New Hampshire is fourth. Jim Downing and Howard Katz, and Howard just stepped into the car down below us, is running in fifth. They had pitted the number 63, the Jim Downing car, and the driver from New York City, Katz, is now at the controls. All right, we're getting set for a caution, I believe, or rather set for a green next time around here as they continue to take these two Ferraris out. We'll be back with more.
Back at Lime Rock Live moments ago, this is what happened to Howard Katz as he attempted to come onto pit road. Wheel came right off the car on the left side. Jim Downing is the car owner. Jim, that's got to be a little embarrassing when that piece of your car goes all the way down the front straight without the rest of it.
Well, it is. I guess we lost a lap there because we couldn't get back out before the pace car came around. Just one of those little things happens to you every now and then. I haven't had that happen in 10 years, I guess, or maybe I had it coming.
Condition of the racetrack, now that you just got out of the car, what's it like?
The track's fine. There's a lot of traffic, and I think spectators seen a lot of action out there today. It's everywhere.
All right, Jim Downing, the three-time Camel Lights champion, knows wherever he speaks.
Jim Downing, there's his car. He had pitted. They had changed drivers. It was after the pit stop. Wheel disassembled from the car, and you saw the result. It has cost them a lap, as Bob Barcher reported. They had been running in sixth position. Presumably, they've lost more spots.
It shows how the GTP class, both full Ps and lights, really want as stiff a chassis as possible. They have lost a rear wheel, being a rear-engine car, and the back end did not hit the ground.
1 hour, 31 minutes. Halfway on the clock, better than halfway in laps in this event. Rolling right along this very quick course today. Again, we had a new record in qualifying of over 122 miles per hour. We saw Nissan and Jaguar battling for that top spot, and finally it was taken by the Jaguar team. Nissan relegated to the outside of the front row. They had come with a new prototype car which had been destroyed in one of the practice periods. So Jag came off the point looking for win number 2 this season, and question very much in doubt. Right now, we have Nielsen driving an XJR9 that's up on the point with a Nissan in second place, and then the Porsche of Robinson going in third. Here's Pat Patterson.
Little things can create victories, and I've been stumbling around back here in the pits trying to look at a few of those little things. Look at what the Castrol GTX team has done. Now, they knew they had a problem this week with cars getting airborne, so they took and fabricated a little piece of metal here, run it down the very nose piece of the car, and it gives it just that much more of an edge as far as wind pushing down, keeping the downforce on the car. Now, on the rear of the car, what they did was, this is the normal size of the side of the wing that rests on the back of the car. They've actually increased the size of it to be that much more higher to give more downforce back there. And Bill Adam, I guess, obviously, these little things can create a lot of downforce with these cars here at Lime Rock.
They really can, but you have to work about 2 different ways, and that you don't want to increase your downforce on the back end so much that it tends to give a seesaw action and actually pulls up the front.
This is the one track where you don't want to pull up the front, because if you get air under it, it can be catastrophic.
Oh, boy. Look at that. Here is the ultimate front taps. We got a double thin dorsal there, I guess.
Not taking any chances.
No.
They lost a car with it. Got air under it.
Interesting, too, Pat. You talked about just the little things with the Jaguar team. I note there as they put that tab on, they had even striped it to match the bodywork perfectly.
Getting set for green when they come by this time. Everybody should be pretty much set to go the rest of the distance. They have completed, at this point, 100 laps.
Boy, have we got a show coming up. Look at how close the Nissan is to the Jag, too. There's the Jag. There's our leader. Now, he's trying to stretch as much as he can without getting a penalty for it. Because he knows that the Nissan... Now, there's 3, and there's the Nissan.
Green flag is on, and we're ready to race.
All right.
At Lime Rock.
There we go, and 1, 2. Nose to tail already.
Closing up is car number 83, trying to move in on the Jag as we get down to the conclusion of this afternoon. International Motorsports Association Prototype Competition. A record crowd here at Lime Rock to watch the most sophisticated cars in the world at full speed. Here you see the Nissan number 83, Brabham, originally from Australia, trying to close up. Now you're inside of Price Cobb's car, further back in the field on this restart. This is the second time today we have come from a full caution back to green.
I believe Price is also on the tail of Chip Robinson, too. That appears to be the Holbert car is right ahead of him there, and he's following another car. Couldn't quite get on the gas as early as he wanted going up that hill.
He's running a couple of laps down to Price Cobb as he eases along on the inside of that corner.
Look at this. Has to be so gentle down here. It's a little flash of light. Now he's back under full power now. And see how close he gets to the next car. You try and measure by inches as close as possible.
Across the start-finish line into turn one. Hardest braking turn on the track.
Very hard braking. You're down to fourth, down to third, and he's fighting. Now back out to the midpoint of the track and then bend it back in. There's his second apex, and now he wants to feed power, and whoops, blocked.
See the 14 car just up in front of him. I thought we saw a bit of smoke from this in-car camera from Robinson's car.
Yeah, let's move the dust. I think somebody just checked the edge of the roadway. It could be. Sometimes after pace laps, 962s have had a tendency to load up a little bit. This enriched condition that I talked about earlier.
Over outside the car, there you see the 52, the Hendrick Corvette. Then you see the Holbert car trying to mosey on by here and doing just that, closing up, coming around the Buick.
Very, very quickly, too.
Price Cobb still trying to find his way through here in the 16.
Just the pounding these cars are putting out down the front straight is incredible. They're all very, very heavily sprung to counteract the down forces they're capable of generating. And you can see that the punishment they give both the chassis components and the driver, really great.
First to second is 2 8/10 of a second, separating the Nielsen car from the Brabham number 83.
Now, Price will want to try and get by the Hendricks car as quickly as he can. But look at this. Torque of the Chevrolet V8 pulls him strongly out of the corner, and I don't think he'll try a pass here. This is where the two team cars came to grief only a few laps ago. Trying to stay well set up. If that car will move over, he may take a shot at it going down the hill, not on the long front straight.
Again, you see some of those Camel light cars just being overrun by these tremendously powerful prototypes.
Little stab on the brakes. Now he'll be back under full boost and trying to use all of the Porsche horsepower. Look at this. Closing, closing, closing. Here comes the pass. Down the inside, use that late braking to get a clean pass.
And gets past the number 52, that Corvette. Last lap at 114 miles per hour by the leaders. He's up on the Buick now. Moretti and Rose car. That Buick is wandering a bit in that corner. Look at him take a couple of shots trying to get the car through there, and finally loses it to go to the outside and let him through.
They are difficult chassis at best.
It's the old BMW chassis. In fact, that's the chassis we saw Bobby Rahal when he had that terrible endo at Sebring a couple of years back.
Yeah.
The body delaminated. Here's car number 60. There's your leader. It's Nielsen still in the lead. And we're continuing to check that interval between first and second place with now 1 hour, 37 minutes on the books and 1 hour, 5 laps on the chart. Here we are with number 60, John Nielsen, Danish driver who made his mark after he qualified on the pole in the 24 hours of Daytona. There's the second place car, creeping ever so much closer.
It appears that Brabham is creeping closer. I don't know how much he'll be extending the car at this point. He does have 45 laps to go. It would be nice to get the lead just in case something happened, but he doesn't want to push the car really, really hard and use it up totally yet. The only lap he is concerned about leading is the last one.
2 full cautions thus far in the race. Very little attrition. It's been amazing, the story of how well prepared these cars have been for this very serious test on this Memorial weekend in Lime Rock, Connecticut.
Well, the Camel GT series really gets better and better as time goes on. Just the quality of cars and the numbers of them.
And you see just behind that number 83 a moment ago in that previous picture, that Downing Cats car. It is back out there and running again now with all 4 wheels.
And a little better now.
There it is. Camel light car.
There's David Loring, Tom Hendrick's car right there. The Jags pass, and Nissan goes past as they go down the hill. Very fast turn right here. Extremely quick. You just see it just slides across the screen left to right.
Checking the interval now, and it's 6/10 of a second between first and second. You can just say goodbye to that completely. He pulled right up on the tail end of car number 60, John Nielsen. Jeff Brabham. He must be wearing a little thin here. It's very, very hot today. Cool suit and all, but still, that could be difficult out there.
I think what helps Brabham, too, is that he is an Indianapolis car driver and is used to running 200, 300, 500-mile races in a cart vehicle. So he is used to the long-distance events without the benefit of a co-driver. Now, Nielsen has got a little bit of a gap here because Brabham got caught in slow traffic. And look at this. Going from being right on the bumper, he's back probably 3 or 4 seconds.
Let's take a look at another time interval this time and see what traffic has done to that competitor. Back on the pit road comes the 09, the Brockman car, which has been running in 10th, is in and quickly back out again.
That hurts.
Whoa. But whereas it was less than a second, about half a second, now it's 5 seconds.
That's in 1 lap, and that's where the crew chief learns how many words the driver knows.
Truly a moving chess game out here and getting trapped.
It is. As I said earlier in the telecast, the Jaguar does have a decided advantage in traffic because of this boost problem. Jeff had to lift off probably a couple of times, and each time he lifts, there goes the boost.
There you see that 83 in the second spot, and again you get a sense of the interval around this 1.5-mile, 7-turn track. Chip Robinson stays in third, Davy Jones maintaining fourth, and Bob Earl, now driving the Pontiac prototype, is in the 5th position. Here we are, hard into turn 1. So the difference, better than 5 seconds between first and second place. And with 109 laps to go, Jeff Brabham has some work to do. Connecticut, small, pleasant New England community. And on this Monday afternoon of Memorial Day weekend, it is the home of the most sophisticated racing machines in the world. The prototype cars that run at Le Mans, run at the 24 Hours of Daytona. You're looking here at the Camel Light Leader, the small prototype cars. This is Skeeter McKittrick from Burbank, California, currently commanding his division, 2 races in 1. But up in front, as we watch McKittrick here, there is another story to be told. And that is that when we left you for a commercial message, there was a 5-second interval between first and second overall in this race. And now what has happened? In just about 2 laps, after some traffic, caught up the leader. There's number 60 up in front with Nielsen at the controls. Jeff Brabham is back to within striking distance. So it works against one driver one moment. In the next lap, the other driver finds himself up against some back markers on this twisty, serpentine 7-turn course and no place to go, having to get on the brake and have to wait and feel the pressure as that second-place man continues to pull up the challenge.
And the closer we get towards the end of the race, the more frustrating it gets for these drivers as they're trying to chase down, or one is trying to establish a lead, one is trying to chase the other down.
And the more frustration today because it is a pretty good-sized field, 26 started, and we've only had to date, 4 cars fall by the wayside, and so on a 1.5 miles at the tremendous speeds they hit, you've got to get in the brake to miss those Camel Light cars. It's moving objects out there that hold you back, that block you in. Makes it a very interesting event.
Oh, it's just an incredible battle. These fellas are really going at it, and they're going to get at it harder and harder. Now, we've got to remember the track conditions are going to be deteriorating all the time. The more rubber, the more oil is put down, the slipperier the track gets.
And I would presume that some racing purists would like to see the Camel Light cars just running off of themselves. I think it's great to make these drivers work that hard, to really see them have to cut and thrust through the field and not just have it flat out and run the gears, much like Formula One. This is a lot more interesting.
I agree. I think it's a very important part of racing. It's not just a case of being alone on the track and going as fast as you can. That's qualifying. This is racing.
A bit of a risky move by IMSA when they instituted this, running the Camel Light cars with the big prototypes. Many said you can't run those little cars with these big fast cars on tracks like Lime Rock. Well, it seems to work out pretty well. These drivers are as good as they say they are, and they're using their heads, driving well in front of those front wheels all the time. And right now, as we come into traffic, we're going to see another experience here where both of them will have to be on their toes. First to second, 1 and 6/10 seconds. There you see Nielsen leading, Brabham right with him.
Now, here we're going to have a momentary block on the Jaguar. The Jaguar's right behind the the Minolta car, sorry, right there with STS on the wing. Ooh, going. A little bit of a cutoff there by, I think that's Jim Downing, Howard Katz's car.
Howard driving now.
Now, Brabham got right up literally on his tail, but he got cut off.
Right. There's a moving blocker.
Now, look at this. Downfield blocking. Here we go. Get through that opposite line.
At 140 miles an hour.
Into the trenches. Get all muddy. Boom.
This is taking place at lap 115. Lap speed down to 106 miles an hour. So you know they're caught up in traffic here.
We have 35 laps to go, which should take less than half an hour. both these drivers know they can make it on the fuel they have on board. They're committed. They have to go harder and harder as the race goes on.
And so the 3-hour time limit will not be in effect today. It will be finished on laps at 1:50. We've had, again, caution periods, 2 full ones today that slowed the race down somewhat. Well, they'd have had this thing done in about 2 hours and 10 minutes today. They are flying.
It's an amazing pace and an amazingly safe race to date, too. We thought there might be a problem with contact out there, which thankfully just has not surfaced today. Now, look at the gap we have here. The number 60 Jag, and look back there. There's the Nissan. The Jag seems to have a very decided advantage going through this traffic, possibly because of that turbo lag or the instant acceleration.
Turbo lag on the Nissan, whereas this Jaguar 12-cylinder, that just lights up the minute you touch it.
Yes. Yep. Direct fuel injection to it.
As we watch this overall running here today, where they are in the overall, both the Camel Light and the prototype cars. Now, who do you really think is going to win this thing?
Well, right now, I'd have to say...
Long silence.
Yeah, it's very tempting to say that Jaguar because they are in the lead right now. But going on the last 2 race performance by the Nissan, Brabham has been so strong. He has not put a wheel wrong, and everything he does looks effortless.
How about it, Bob Barsha? You've been following this IMSA prototype racing carefully. How do you think this thing is going to sort itself out live here on ESPN today?
Well, I'm kind of like Bill, but I had a little more time to mull that over. I don't think I've come to any stronger conclusion. I'm going to go out on a limb. I think Jeff Brabham is going to catch the Jaguar. We saw a great race like that in Miami. I think we're going to see another great Camel GT finish here. I'm going to go with a Nissan.
Denmark's John Nielsen stays in front. Australia's Jeff Brabham originally is running in second. The United States, Chip Robinson is in third. And Davy Jones out of the U.S. running the second Jag is running fourth. Those 4 cars continue in the lead lap. And then Bob Earl in the Pontiac Firebird is back there in 5th place. That Pontiac getting stronger. And looks like 83 is getting a little stronger here,
Look at this. Here we go. Oh, he's going to challenge for the lead right here.
Ooh, tries to nip in there, and I believe the Buick keeps him closed in.
I think a little discreet blocking as well on the part of the Jaguar.
Yeah, the Jaguar used that lap car very nicely. Thank you.
He used a lot of roadway there, too.
I think he's seen a little quarter-mile short track racing the way he used that lap car.
Incredible racing. They get such a huge lead just over the course of 1 lap, and then all of a sudden Nissan beats the lead.
Bill, watch this. Look at this battle for 3rd spot. There you see Chip Robinson in the 14 and Davy Jones. It's an all-American battle here. Porsche 962 with Chip Robinson from New Jersey. Davy Jones right there challenging him in as we get down to the end of this for 3rd spot. Good fight further back in the field.
Great fight. We saw Davy Jones make a super last lap stab at getting on the Nissan's tail at the West Palm Grand Prix. Did a heck of a job, even tapping the wall in the final couple of laps. So he is going to take a good run at Chip here and make him work hard for it.
The pride of Cortland, New York, Davy Jones closes right up on the defending IMSA champion, Chip Robinson. And look at this little slugfest.
Davy got right out wide the edge of the pavement there, gets a good run going for the turn. Now, see, anytime you see flame come out the exhaust pipe of a 962, the driver is lifting his foot off the gas. He got a little bit of a block by the SPS car. Foot had to come up off the gas, and Davy is right immediately up on his tail.
3rd place contest continuing. Robinson of the gold car. Davy Jones, white, green, and red Jag. This is a dandy.
This should benefit Jones. Robinson is having a little bit of a problem getting by. And look at this. Here's this immediate V12 acceleration. You can get him right up alongside. If Chip does not get by him here, and he won't, I would expect Jones will try it at the end of this straight to get by Chip under braking. There, Davy had a good run out onto the straight, staying very, very wide. And let's watch this, Ken. No, can't do it.
And a good stab at it. Rothbard car, number 15, hanging tough in there. Of course, he's trying to maintain his position and his pace in this race. He has his own decisions to make.
Of course.
Bernard Jourdain and Jim Rothbard's number 15. That's the Calasian car that was in there. That's a prototype car. And it's trying its best today for a guy who has tried very hard in this form of racing for some time. And I think everyone knows the Calasian story and how many people are rooting for that team across the country.
Great job by John. There's Davy. I hope he had a good golf game yesterday.
Up in front, Nielsen. And the 2nd place man, Brabham. And there's that Buick back in there again. They had 2 Buicks. One of them, Steve Phillips. They did not bring that car this time. They're trying to focus on one car, get it sorted out. Look at this. The car, number 60, Nielsen. Still staying out in front, steady in that first place pass. And right behind him, traipsing along, comes Jeff Brabham, again trying to close up for his third win of the season.
Well, a little bit of a clear track right now for both of them. There's nothing between them, and Nielsen's got a good stretch of pavement before he's going to come upon lapping another car. So we'll see how this gap works these couple of laps.
Attempting to overhaul car number 60. Here you see Jeff Brabham once again. Heavy braking down into turn number 1. So it's to be decided very shortly with 122 of 150 laps complete here today at Lime Rock. Back with more.
Back at Lime Rock Live, you're watching a great battle for this Camel Grand Prix of Lime Rock, Connecticut. John Nielsen in the Jaguar attempting to hold off Jeff Brabham in the Nissan that has won 2 straight races. A couple of different thoughts come to mind as we watch this battle. A, the Jaguar team has great drivers. As we watch the Nissan look to the inside, but there's not going to be enough time. In Miami, we saw the Jaguar in a battle with Price Cobb in the Porsche. Afterwards, John Nielsen got out of the car and said, I was willing to settle for second place because the points are what matter. We're going for a championship. I'm wondering if that's not also going to come into play if Jeff Brabham presses, because Jeff Brabham wants to win that championship too. But more than that, I think he wants to win this race, and he's going to do everything in his power to get that Nissan home to its 3rd straight victory. On the other hand, you've got the physical factor. Jeff Brabham has been in that car for over 2 hours. It's well over 100 degrees in the cockpit of the Nissan, I'm sure. Nielsen has spent about half that much time in the car, and it may come down to a physical confrontation. By that I mean the physical condition of the drivers.
Well, if that being the case, I think I would give it to Brabham just on the basis of what was mentioned earlier, and that is his experience in Indianapolis car racing in those long 500-mile grinds. They may look like open cockpit cars, but they really are heaters. They are radiators. And now we see car number 10 idling. And here's that battle further back, and that one isn't losing any of its luster either. Look at Robinson in the number 14, still holding off Davy Jones. Ding-dong battle all the way around this 1.5-mile track. It's live today on ESPN from Lime Rock, Connecticut, as Robinson runs full throttle, tries to stay in this. I think he has the sense now that he is running for a position further back. He'd hoped to make it 3 years in a row here for Al Holbert and company. Right now, he's just trying to hold on to 3rd place. Look at this battle for the lead. Oh, down in the grass. Contact. And they touched down there as they went back to turn 1 under a hard braking situation, coming right down below it. Jeff Brabham went all the way down into the turf, trying to make his move on Nielsen, and Nielsen would not give ground.
Nielsen is doing a little bit of blocking right now.
You know what that looks like? 1979 at Daytona. Remember Kaylee Yarborough and Davey and Donnie Allison? That's what that rascal looked like. Watch again.
Now, Nielsen is swinging out wide to pass the probe, and here comes Brabham. Wider, wider. Okay, there, look at this. The Jag has seen him coming, and he made a deliberate move.
That's the entrance to pit road right there.
No question. And definite. Deliberate blocking. Definite.
That's about 140, 150 mile an hour altercation going on right down here below us as these leaders mix and muss it up toward the end this afternoon at Lime Rock.
Brabham will not be afraid to get right back in and give this another shot. These are good, strong cars.
Well, yesterday we were in North Carolina and saw one driver get penalized 5 laps for leading on the other guys. I wonder what's going to happen here. Look at this scramble for third, and they're tagging each other.
And now look at this. Jones got in too deep. Robinson can repass the middle and
sliding out of the corner. Thank you very much.
Incredible action. Jones got in so deep under braking, he wasn't able to complete the turn into the corner. That gave Chip an opportunity to go back underneath him.
Wonderful pictures of this confrontation. Look at the parts and pieces lying around.
That is the little front wing off Chip Robinson's car, and that means that over the lift, over the jump, his car is going to lift a little bit more. Now, hopefully the leaders are not going to hit this piece.
Car number 60. Nielsen still out in front. That time, Brabham just followed him down this main straightaway and did not make the move. Again, turn 1 is the hardest braking turn of the track. So that's, if you were new to racing, where you want to go to see the action. Who can outbrave the other man? Who dares?
And Robinson's off the track.
Car number 14 eating up some dirt here at Lime Rock this afternoon.
Now, you can see how that wing is missing. The left front corner of the car is round, whereas the right front has got that very definite shape to it. Had that added wing.
And that will put him back into the 4th position, move Davy Jones up to 3rd. Let's follow this first place scramble another time with 128 of 150 laps complete in our live coverage of the International Motorsports Association on this lovely Memorial Weekend, Monday afternoon here in New England.
I keep thinking that these races can't get any better, but they do. We're going to get a look at what happened to Chip Robinson here. Coming down the front straight, approaching this 180-degree corner. Look at this car bouncing. Late on the brakes, and look at this. All of a sudden, Chip has gone too deep. Off the track, he's got his foot off the brakes. Now, there he is, just getting back on the gas. You saw a little stab of flame. Very, very lucky.
Very lucky he didn't loop and have it all over right there.
Just a shot of brain fade.
Bouncing back into the tracks. Great recovery.
Very good.
Got himself into a real problem getting into that corner. The pressure is really on here at the end this afternoon at Lime Rock, Connecticut. It's live on ESPN. Our real joy to bring you this race. What a dandy. Look at this battle up in front, and it just doesn't get much better. Here we are.
Thrust.
Car number 60, John Nielsen staying in front. Brabham is right there. 12-cylinder versus V6 turbo in this shootout to decide it this afternoon. We've completed 130. There are 20 laps to go, and it looks like it will be this intense right down to the checkers this afternoon. This is a manufacturer's battle. Sure, the drivers want to win, but what really is key here is that the manufacturers are so involved, so intent. That's why Pontiac has come in so strong for the United States. Buick is still trying to get themselves sorted out this year. That we see Nissan in here. Jaguar making a full effort in the United States to try to carry their colors and bring home a championship in this most celebrated of road racing series in the United States.
Well, I think, too, this track has particular importance for Jaguars. We're very close to the Jag head office. I saw Mike Dale, the American Vice President, and John Mackey, the Canadian President, are both down here watching their cars. 19 laps remaining, and we have a battle going on royally.
It's been a good one all day. It may not have a lead change every lap, but if you're a road racing enthusiast, this is a really great moment here at Lime Rock this afternoon. Again, 26 cars started, and officially our retirement list shows only 4 cars have fallen by the wayside, and that means that the smaller, lighter, slower Camel-like cars continue to set their own pace, and they become moving objects for which these big prototypes must dart around. Makes it a far more interesting game. McKittrick stays first in Camel-Lite, that great driver from Burbank, California. Then the Arkansas driver, Charlie Morgan, is in second in his Firebird. Tom Hessert out of New Jersey is running third in his Buick, and Grooms is fourth with Ludeman and Schubach running in fifth, and Howard Katz and Jim Downing running in the 6th position in Camel-Lite. Back here again with the leader as we watch car number 60, co-driven by Martin Brundle and John Nielsen. What a magnificent job they have done to contain this Nissan. We saw the Nissan make up time twice from the rear at Road Atlanta. Just overwhelmed every other car on the track. Not the case today. He just can't get up on that Jag. You saw what happened the last time that he attempted it.
Well, Ken and Bill, you know, having said what I just said a moment ago about the Jaguar drivers wanting to preserve their cars and their places in the points, I think after the 2 episodes we've just seen involving the Nissan and Chip Robinson and the Porsche, it sounds like maybe the Jaguar guys have gone to a little NASCAR school of driving wide cars down into those corners. I think maybe they want to win this thing, even if it costs the race car.
Hey, you're right, Bob Barsh. I'll tell you, I've been watching the crews down here, and this is a boxing match. This is not just a road race anymore. These guys are like a Saturday night shootout, and at your local short track, every time those 2 cars come together, you see the crews jumping up on the walls and screaming and shouting, and I think you're going to see something like a 10-lap trophy dash when we get down to the end of this one.
Okay. Porsche has won this event the last 4 years. Prior to that, who beat them? Why, Jag, with a guy named Bob Tullius and some fellow named Bill Adams. You know him?
Very, very famous. I've heard him a number of times.
It must have felt really good to have yourself a victory on this very tough, tight track.
As I said, it gave me great memories and a great deal of pleasure. There were a lot of Jaguar people here that day as well.
While the Jag is out in front, there you see that interval, about 15 car lengths as it pulls up on the road. Goes underneath it. Boy, the glory days for Ford in this series are certainly gone by.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them come back in, because look at the publicity that we're getting these days, and the racing is getting incredibly good. Just better and better every race.
It warmed my heart to see them back out there. I'm kind of interested in seeing that Pontiac continue to improve and the Buick get back in here.
Excellent job.
All right, we're getting set for a finish, and it looks like it's going to be a dandy in endurance competition. Jag and Nissan live on ESPN from Lime Rock, Connecticut.
Back live at Lime Rock in the Camel GT. There's a great lead battle going on between Jaguar and Nissan. Let's ask an expert, as long as we're getting opinions about the outcome of this one. Jeff Klein just got out of the Pontiac GTP. Bob Earl is now in it. Jeff, you were here with me when Jeff Brabham just threw pebbles all over pit road. Pick somebody in the finish.
Well, I'd like to see Brabham when he's really trying. I think all of us are shooting for the Jaguars. And after what happened to John Morton, who's my very best friend, on Friday, I think we're all pulling for the Nissan, even though it'd be 3 in a row.
It looks as though the Nissan is dropping back a little bit. You see anything out there in the car that may be a problem for him?
No, I don't think so. I think maybe traffic, and if he can use traffic and catch up, he might make another bonsai charge, put pebbles all over us.
All right, Jeff Klein and Bob Earl presently 5th in the Pontiac. Now let's go back to Ken Squires.
Well, he just made a bonsai charge. He pulled all the way up, as we were able to witness in these wonderful pictures from Lime Rock. But he was not able to succeed in getting by. And now there's a new element here. They are saying that car number 60, the Jaguar, out in front. John Nielsen is throwing oil, and it is covering the windshield, slicking up the track wherever Brabham is going. For more on that story, here's Pat Patterson.
Ashley Page is a crew chief on his car. Ashley, they say they're throwing oil up. Jeff says he's complaining of oil. Is that what the story is?
Well, that's what we're hearing from Jeff. The oil's coming out of the Jaguar, and says it's hard for him to see right now.
Is there a chance that you would have to bring him in to clean it off to finish this race?
Oh, no.
He'll stay out there regardless.
Right.
Okay, that's the story, Ken.
10 laps to go, less than 10 now. They're into the last 10 laps. And here you see Brabham going for 3 in a row, closing in here again on John Nielsen. Jaguar in first, Nissan in second. And it is showdown time at Lime Rock, Connecticut Live on ESPN today. 130 lap average, 101 miles per hour. And remember, there have been 2 full course cautions today. Here comes Brabham, taking the high side. Cuts in, and he has to really hit the binders.
And here he's going to get a pass right here. He's going to boost up. He's got it.
He just never relented. If he let out of it at all, I don't think he did.
Incredible. Nielsen, for the last couple of laps, has been going extremely wide out of that out of the second corner, wider than he has to go for only one reason, to do a good block. That time, Brabham stayed right to the last minute till Nielsen had to swing back to the left. A little bit of contact. Nielsen was off the gas. Brabham did a brave move, leaving his foot down, keeping that boost up. Got the pass. Look at the crew.
So Jeff Brabham has taken the lead.
And look at that lead.
Just blowing away the Jag now as he goes down into turn number 1. Brabham with that incredible move. Would he had one foot, the left foot on the brake, and just kept the other foot on the gas and kept that turbo wound up and he came in there?
It would be nice to say that he did that. And it's quite possible.
It looked like an area where tire smoke when he started down through there.
Well, there's an area there where you really don't have to shift. He may have done that, but it's a very unnatural move unless you practice that.
We need to see that pass for the lead once again. An incredible maneuver by Brabham to put the Nissan back in front, trying for its 3rd in a row.
Totally unexpected. That's an area where you normally never, ever try a pass. And look at the lead he's pulling out. Sensational lead.
Jeff Brabham trying to put this one away. Brabham stays out in front. Just clearing away from everyone around him now.
The more I watch this man drive, the more impressed I am with him. Stays glassy smooth and just never relents.
Well, that was anything but glassy smooth, that pass. That pass was just brutal, old-fashioned, great racing. Let's see if we can see what happened here.
Now, this is onto the straight. Brabham has the boost up, and look at the difference in acceleration. Even though Nielsen's foot's going right down to the floor, the Nissan had the boost up, had the edge going off the corner, and that's it.
It was what happened just before, though, that really set that up.
Yes.
That was the pass, and that was the aftermath of what we had seen when the 2 bumped. And it looked like Brabham somehow, even though we saw those rear wheels seeming to lock up, had the boost full on and throttled through bottom of the racetrack to take the lead.
And you can see it was an extremely light bump. Neither of those little canard wings. Oh, and look at this. Just cool as you be, just goes past a spinning Tom Hessert, I believe.
Car number 19. That would be Hessert. Loring is in the 9. And that Hessert car is running 3rd in Camel Light, if that is the 19, and indeed it is.
Yeah.
A painted identical number 19 is Hessert, New Jersey driver. Back underway, running 3rd in Camel Light.
No damage, no dirt on the car at all.
Truly nice guy. He and David Loring are quite fair.
Very, very nice, both of them.
And Loring, as many people have told us, including Jim Downing, is probably one of the most unrecognized drivers there is in this series at the present time. Leader speed 114.7 in the last lap. Here's Brabham. Looks like it may be 3 in a row, but looks don't count. Only checkered flags.
Well, a sensational performance up to this point with 6 laps left. Now, Brabham wants to try and drive as smoothly as he can, do exactly what he's been doing over these last few laps, not change any habits at all, because sometimes when you back off the gas, you lose the all-important concentration. He has to be very careful and use his experience. This is going through this number 1 corner, and you can see Hessert is right in front. Brabham is just coming up behind, and all of a sudden Hessert's back end is getting out more and more. Brabham immediately keeps going to the outside. He is projecting. The car is going to go one of 2 ways, and he's made the decision the car will go back to the inside of the track. He takes the out, and he's safely by.
As a former winner here, when something like that happens in front of you, instant thought.
Oh, I can't repeat it.
2 words, I suppose.
Yes.
Something like that. Here with 5 laps remaining, Brabham stays in front and pulls away. His lead is just getting gigantic here. He is just whipping away from the second place man. John Nielsen is better than, I believe, 10 seconds now. Again, Davy Jones with another Jag is running 3rd, and 4th is Chip Robinson. We're checking the interval back to 2nd place right now. That's some interval in about 3 laps.
Really impressive. It shows how badly Nielsen must have been blocking those few laps, because I'm sure he does not want Brabham to get away. At this point in the race, with this few laps remaining, if Brabham were to make a mistake, potentially with Nielsen being that far behind him now, he couldn't take advantage of it.
Or if one of those Camel Light cars should spin, we get another problem like we just saw with Loring. It could really change things dramatically and give him a shot at it.
Yes.
Of course, Brabham wants as much insurance as he can boost in here. Car number 83, out in front. Laps down to 4, time through. Running in the 6th position behind 5th Earl. The 6th position is Vandermerver in the Corvette. 7th is Price Cobb. Then 8th is Adams. 9th is Rothbard. Rowe and Moretti are running in 10th, and Brockman is 11th. Leading is Camel Light. McKittrick, Morgan 2nd. Hessert 3rd in the 19 that we just saw spin. And Jim Downing is maintaining 4th. Schubert and Ludeman running 5th in Camel Light with 3 laps to go.
Well, Jeff is just thinking every corner through at this point. His crew is so... The crew must be so nervous right now. Their fingers are going down at the quick.
83. Jeff Brabham. Can he make it 3 in a row? Now, there's the Camel Light leader, Peter McKenna. A tire, something coming off one of those cars. Looks like it might some debris.
Yeah, I just ran over something. That's the Whitehall Motorsport car again. Great looking little car. Roy Roach and his team are good friends.
Car number 79. McKittrick is going to have himself another victory here today in Camel Light. Back to the leader again. It looks like Brabham will go for 3 straight. Coming into today's race, in the Camel GTP point, Brabham was back in the 7th position. There was a 3-way tie for 4th between Klaus Ludwig not here, Hans Cook not here, Davy Jones very much in it. Jeff Brabham is going to climb right up toward the top, but the man on top is John Nielsen, part of the winning team at Jaguar. He leads with 66 points. Price Cobb and James Weaver at 64, tied for 2nd. So for sure, the man is really tearing things up here as we move toward the end of this Lime Rock race. And the midway point of the 1988 IMSA Series is this man, Jeff Brabham.
2 laps left, and he just showed a little restraint there going into that corner. He had an opportunity to pass the Hessert-Loring car, decided to wait back. He's got a nice lead here. His crew chief is keeping advised exactly how much the lead he has. At this point, maybe he backs off a tiny little bit.
A 1-lap indicator going out along pit road to the various teams here. The final lap of the day for Jeff Brabham, who has driven a magnificent race.
What a sensational drive he has put in. And the crew, again, this car has run faultlessly. It's really nice to have that brand new car destroyed in that horrendous accident that John Morton had. This helps a lot.
6 3/10 seconds. Interval 1st to 2nd place as we come down to the finish here today. Jeff Brabham magnificently carrying the colors again for Nissan, and it will be 3 in a row, half a lap to the finish this afternoon.
1 more corner.
Downhill, scooting through, coming up directly in front of us. Checkered flag about to be unfurled, and for the 3rd straight outing, It is Jeff Brabham and Team Nissan that has won in the International Motorsports competition this year among these giants of racing, the prototype cars.
Fantastic race, and the Jaguar reliability has really shown through as they grabbed second and third.
2 hours, 13 minutes, 47 seconds the time. Here's the Camel leader coming to the line. Number 79, Skeeter McHenry, Burbank, California. He'll come across in first for Camelite. There you see Chip Robinson, who will finish up today in number 14 in the 4th position as it comes down to conclusion. Checkered flag is out at Lime Rock. The winner, Nissan, and Jeff Brabham. More and a chance to meet.
In Victory Lane, live at Lime Rock Park, Jeff Brabham has just gotten a hero's welcome from the members of the Nissan team. What a race, Jeff. What an incredible race.
Well, thanks. We knew it was going to be hard going in. The Jaguars and us are really even, and you know, the Jaguar was blowing a lot of oil out, and I could hardly see out the windscreen there at the end, and I had a chance, and I went for it. He left a little bit of a hole, and unfortunately we hit each other, but you know, everyone was playing a little rough out there, so maybe what comes around comes around.
Yeah, you had a contact right out here on the front straightaway that splashed pebbles over all of us on pit road, and that's when we knew that this was really serious and that you wanted it. Another incidental contact?
Well, you know, I think John Nielsen was driving, and John and I raced against each other in Formula 3, and it was like that then, and he must remember I still haven't forgotten how to do it.
The other races you guys dominated. The Nissan just proved it had such overwhelming superiority in terms of the horsepower and speed on a given day. Now you've shown that you can handle the infighting kind of race too. Is that another step forward for this team?
Well, it's just a matter of finishing races. You know, we've run well before, and when you haven't finished, you know, things don't look so good. But if you're running at the end, you're willing to fight anybody who's around, you know. And the Jaguars were really, really tough today, and they're getting better every race. And I think you're going to see some great racing between Nissan and Jaguar.
After all the years of struggle to make the team competitive, how's it feel now to win 3 in a row?
Well, I'm really happy for me because I started with the program when it was down, and I'm really happy for all the guys here. They've done a tremendous job, and they've given me 3 races in a row, a perfect race car, and you really can't ask for any more than that.
You're thinking a little bit about John Morton out there, too?
Well, definitely. You know, John did a nasty accident there the other day, and this one's definitely for John.
No. Congratulations once again to Jeff Brabham and the whole Nissan team. We'll be back to talk with more of the players in a great Camel GT race here at Lime Rock in a moment. You're watching live. It's ESPN and Lime Rock.
And Car of the Year. Let's take a look at the top 10 standings here and get a final comment from Bill Adam to conclude today. Bill?
Lasting impression, Jeff Brabham doing just an outstanding job. We have tremendous heat, little adversity with an oily windshield, and not a little contact on the track. He came back from 2 pit stops, won the race. Outstanding contribution by he and his crew.
Glorious race, and here are those top 10. Brabham first, Brundle Nielsen second, Lauber Jones for Jaguar third, Chip Robinson for Al Hobart's Porsche fourth, and then the Pontiac finishing in fifth. In the second 5, Dyson, Vandermerver, Rothbard, Adams, and Brockman. It was a tremendous race here today at Lime Rock, and we look forward to Watkins Glen for our next IMSA event. For Bob Barcia and Bill Adams, Pat Patterson along pit road as well, I'm Ken Squire. Thank you for joining us for our live coverage of the Lime Rock Camel Grand Prix today. Good afternoon.
Bye-bye.